Now on the show is Ambassador Shilkant Sharma, who is the former Secretary General of SAARC. Well, welcome to the broadcast, Ambassador Sharma. It's great to actually have you on the show since you have been at the helm of things as concerns SAARC. So, Bangladesh's Chief Adviser meets the Pakistan Prime Minister seeking Pakistan's help to revive SAARC. Now, Sharif expressed Pakistan's interest in investing in Bangladesh's textile and leather sector. Since you've been the former Secretary General of SAARC, your initial reaction to this development?
Well, Bangladesh is the one which was a country at the origin of SAARC. SAARC was created at behest of the Bangladesh president then in the 1980s. So, and then Bangladesh has been very supportive of SAARC. So whatever they say, I think one should respect. Second, Muhammad Yunus himself is a great economist. And I remember meeting him in 2009. And at that time, we were talking of SAARC Development Fund, which was created. And he was supportive of that idea. And he said, but it should increase the capital from 300 million to 3 billion. He said, there's a lot of money required to really spur development and social economic progress in SAARC region. So he was a visionary at that time, and he talked about the positive direction which SAARC could take. So in that context, when you hear him talk about SAARC, it was heartening. However, the situation today in South Asia is very different. In 2014, when the last summit was held, even then there was already a cooked motor vehicles agreement, but the country which was holding it was Pakistan. And then they decided to give a further 3 months or 6 month time for Pakistan to come back, and the summit ended with a good statement. But they never came back. And so we were compelled to look for, and then the world was moving forward. The window of opportunities were closing. So regionalism in this region was waiting for a spurt. So then BIMSTEC was chosen as the option. And BIMSTEC is headquartered in Dhaka. So now when Bangladesh's Chief Adviser, as president, in Bangladesh, when he speaks about SAARC, then naturally question arises about what will happen to BIMSTEC. Because BIMSTEC doesn't have Pakistan as a member. Whereas he meets Pakistani Prime Minister in New York and then talks about SAARC. So what is the implied, meaning? Now, these are the questions which come to fore. Then, you see, the whole problem of SAARC has been that political issues which were kept out by the very thoughtful, drafters of the SAARC Charter in 1985 have been coming back like a ghost, Every time something happens, the political problems bedevil it. And SAARC is a very modest, very, very micro organization. Its total budget is minimal, It has just 8 directors and 1 Secretary General, which has very limited mandate. So with this kind of a very small organization, you should not burden it with political problems. However, every time SAARC is taken up, they demand political solutions. It cannot give you a solution when it is not created to give you solutions like that. It is created to give you socio-economic progress, which is a very good vision, and that should continue. The whole purpose is that once socio-economic progress takes place, it will automatically create a certain climate for further cohesion. So this cohesion and mutual interdependence and aiming for the well-being and development of the people, this entire people of South Asia, is a very worthy goal. And I am strongly for it. So anyone who speaks for it, I have to support it. However, in the 9th summit, they created an eminent persons group. That was 1998, 99. At that time, the total population of South Asia was 1.3 billion. Today, India alone is more than 1.4 billion. So demographic explosion has taken place. And how are they coping with this demography in South Asia?
Right.
In one country, they are coping it with espousing terrorism and being an epicenter of terrorism and giving us all kinds of, whitewashed lies. Another country where minorities are now being, frightened and we have voiced legitimate concern about it. Then you have a big dragon breathing down the neck in 24, who has very different ambitions. So the dragon wants to take over South Asia under its wings.
Right.
And so, this is the kind of a present political climate in which when you talk about South Asia,
right.
First talk about BIMSTEC, which is already created, which has already made progress, and which is housed in Dhaka. Right. So we must know first, what do you think about BIMSTEC? Then we'll see. Otherwise, this is like there's a saying that you leave with the bird in the hand and go for the bird in the bush. Sure. This is not the way.
Ambassador Sharma, I could also ask you about the Nobel laureate, comparing it to the European Union. But let me first ask you about the Indian contest. Now, in March of 2024, India's External Affairs Minister highlighted that SAARC's survival was at risk due to Islamabad's ongoing support for cross-border terrorism. Of course, to reiterate that India had boycotted SAARC following Uri attacks. And Bangladesh, in fact, was one of the countries to boycott it too. So how do you view Muhammad Yunus approaching Pakistan in the Indian context here? How does it bode for the India-Bangladesh relations here?
Well, relationship between India and Bangladesh is, it is anchored on very substantial socio-economic factors, and the progress which has been made over the last 2 decades has been very substantial. So these relationships have certain objective basis, and that they would continue. These objective realities cannot be, changed. But as democracies, we have countries in South Asia which have a different way of governing. So they are now passing through a phase in which they might have different dispensation, which will be in the governance in Dhaka. Now that dispensation, at the moment, going by the news reports and otherwise, seems to have a different view of Pakistan from what it was, say, a year ago, or at the time when the 2016 summit was being held and Bangladesh agreed not to join that summit. So if there's a change in the dispensation and the attitude, then what is it that is causing that change? Has Pakistan modified its approach? Has Pakistan given up on terrorism? The infiltration in Kashmir continues, and we have to constantly be on our watch because they have not given up on anything.
Right.
So, and then the thing is that in SAARC in the past also, 1999, 2000, also there was a problem. 2001, 2002. That was a phase in which, after the Indian nuclear test, Pakistani's copycat tests, there was this whole thing that Pakistan would not have a summit. So then they agreed that, okay, if Pakistan cannot hold it, then let's hold it in Sri Lanka, let's hold it in Nepal. If you wanted to put forward SAARC, then give solutions and the country which has a problem can hold on for a while till its bilateral relations improve. So Pakistan in 2016 should have stepped back and said, okay, let another country continue with SAARC. We will come back. And when India and Pakistan's relations would have improved, the summit could have taken place, as it was done in 2004, when India agreed to let Pakistan host the summit and Pakistan gave a commitment that it will not allow terrorism from its soil. So that was a deal in 2004 under which the summit was agreed in Pakistan. That deal was belied by the 26/11, by the parliamentary attack, all these things, and then Uri attack. So in 2016, naturally, we didn't agree to have a summit in Pakistan because you cannot have, epicenter of terrorism flourishing there. And then you have this event of SAARC summit where you try and talk big. So that was no. Today, has situation changed? This is a problem. It's a pity that someone whom we respect a lot, Muhammad Yunus, in his personal capacity, as well as a country whom we attach a lot of importance, Bangladesh, and particularly for SAARC. So it is coming from them. So we have to take it with some degree of satisfaction, and also we can think about it, what to do. I am an old SAARCist. I still feel that these problems will continue to bedevil us, but we should have a long-term vision where this entire population of this region, which has suffered, unnecessarily, and which is bound together by geography and geographical contiguity. And today's challenges like climate change, when extreme events take place in climate because of climate change, they don't respect boundaries. So Bangladesh and India and Pakistan and Nepal, they are all affected. So this is incumbent on them to think about cooperation to deal with the challenges. The economic crisis, which is there in the world, the food crisis, for all of them,
right.
if they work together, it is good.
Right.
But Pakistan, in fact, has its own attitude, its own lonely furrow. And then it wants to join SAARC. So what's the purpose? It wants to hold the summit and increase its profile, and then continue with the epicenter of terrorism.
Ambassador,
dilemma.
Right. Ambassador Sharma, it was truly a pleasure talking to you and getting your valuable insights on this. However, for the paucity of time, we will have to pick this discussion on another time. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.